Way back in 2007, Blizzard was eternally developing a massively multiplayer first person shooter named Titan. In this class based shooter, you could work during the day and save the world during the night. I mean, isn't that what we all do, anyways? What's most interesting about Titan, though, is that it would eventually become the topic of today's discussion. Released 5 years ago this week, Blizzard's Overwatch hardly resembles Titan, but yet there are still pieces of it that exist to this day. Curious to learn more? Today we're celebrating 5 years of Overwatch alongside some very special guests, talking about the origins of the game, discussing our favorite characters, and our opinions on competitive gaming itself. So stick around and join us for an Overwatch themed trip down memory card lane. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope these words find you well. Hello and welcome to the 39th episode of our Video Game Nostalgia Podcast, A Trip Down Memory Card Lane. Each week we take a look back at one release during the current week in gaming history, and we talk about it. While doing so, we hope to teach you something new about the game, what it took from the world, or what it gave back to it. Today we're celebrating the 5-year anniversary of Overwatch. Not exactly a classic title in the traditional sense, but 5 years is cause for celebration, so it's party time. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, who is actually the inspiration for one of the canceled heroes of the Overwatch series. Yes, that's right. Here we have the inspiration for Recluse, ladies and gentlemen, my brother, Rob Casson. Rob, it's always a pleasure. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I prefer sticking to myself, though.
And joining us for the first time is Matthew Sprouse, friend of mine and competitive Overwatch extraordinaire. Matt, I just want to start by apologizing. I want you to know that I appreciate the favor of you joining us for our podcast, but I really don't think you understand what this is going to do to your credibility. So I'm sorry ahead of time.
Well, the good part is I don't have any credibility to start with, so I'm doing well.
I just want you to know you already signed the waiver, so it's too late to back out now. Too late. Oh, Rob, I'll start with you. How you doing?
I am doing well, Dave. How about you?
There we go. I realized I didn't introduce myself. My name's David Casson, and I'm doing well. Matt, how are you doing today?
I am doing well.
And you're very welcome. And Matt, what are you playing these days? What has been your recent week in gaming?
Truthfully, I've just been playing Overwatch's anniversary event, trying to get all the skins for that.
Rob, how about you? What are you playing right now?
Well, lately it's been a lot of Rocket League, and as of last night, a little bit of Diablo on the side.
It's very true. We played Diablo 1 last night. I don't have anything else to say about it, but we played Diablo 1.
I'm kind of jealous. I enjoyed the hell out of Diablo 1.
Right? Well, you know, when its anniversary came around, we did it as a topic, and Rob and his friends, for that matter, had never played. Rob, you had never played any Diablo, correct?
Correct.
So I thought it was appropriate to start at the beginning. So we've been, tackling a little bit of 1, and hopefully we'll work our way through the series. I haven't decided if I was gonna have him have us play Diablo 2 original or wait for the remake they're working on. I just don't know yet, to be honest with you.
I'm such a nerd. I got the Diablo Switch.
Didn't know that was a thing.
You are.
Oh yeah, I know, it's terrible.
All right, Matt. So as a first-time guest, I like to ask everyone who comes on for the first time a question. I don't really like to give anyone a chance to prepare for this because I like the knee-jerk reaction. So, right off the bat, what is your earliest gaming memory?
Ooh, my neighbor had a ColecoVision.
Nice.
And we have to slide those cards into the controller so you knew where the buttons were and all that good stuff. And pray to God that it worked.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I had asked someone at work a similar question, and ColecoVision was their answer too. So that's the second ColecoVision that I have encountered in the last week.
Oh wow.
Damon, do you want to join us?
How's that?
I don't know,
That-
Rob. What do you think? You think we
that
should let
good?
Damon join?
He already is kind of off to a bad start.
We're off to a bad start? Oh, this ain't good.
Well, you can listen. You just want to listen since you didn't prepare for today?
I mean, I'll just sit here quietly, and if I could chime in, I'll just chime in.
All right, I'll take it, Peanut. I'll take it, Peanut Gallery. But mute yourself otherwise. Thank you. Good Lord. Damon, Matt, David. That's
Nice to meet you.
Rob's best friend. So
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
all right. So ColecoVision. Man, I'm gonna edit all that out.
Nope,
Yeah.
that needs to stand.
It's so
I'm
professional.
sorry, Dave.
It's okay. I just didn't know if you actually wanted to join, like you prepared something, but you really didn't. You just want to listen. So
I mean, it's Overwatch, right?
it's Overwatch, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have knowledge on Overwatch.
Do you though?
I mean, a little bit. Not as much as Dark Souls, but
Yeah. You stick to Dark Souls. We'll keep going with Overwatch.
all right.
Lord, go drive an American truck across country and put us on as a podcast like normal. So
Hey, if you do something on that, I'm in.
I know. All right. All right. So Overwatch. As always, we like to take it back and hearken to the very beginning and talk about Overwatch's origins. And so our story this week takes us all the way back to 2007. Back in 2007, Blizzard started to internally develop what they had hoped would be their fourth franchise, the first three, of course, being Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo. This franchise was initially named Titan, and it was a game that was described as a massively multiplayer PC game in which players could both maintain non-combat progressions and shoot their way through death matches on a sci-fi version of Earth. And so basically what it was a game that took place on a near future Earth, and the players could do mundane jobs during the day while fighting enemies at night. I don't really even know what that means, to be honest with you. Mundane jobs during the day? Matt, do you remember any of Titan at all?
I do, and basically the stuff that they're coming out with for Overwatch 2 was all started back during Titan. It's what Overwatch was originally meant to be, where you have your missions and everything like that. Plus, you have the other side of it for the esports and the deathmatch itself.
Well, what else we know about Titan is that it was a class-based shooter game. Players could select from several classes, and as they progressed through the game, they would earn points to spend on a skill tree for that character. Which, I don't know about you guys, but that very much sounds like a Diablo first-person shooter to me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit.
But by 2013, honestly, Titan was it was a mess. They had characters, places, they had skill trees, but they really couldn't find a balance for it all. The characters and the skill trees that they had, they led to overpowered and overbalanced combinations, and people that were working on the game really described it as being very cluttered and confused. Matt, were there Titan announcements before Overwatch? I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Not really. It was all just, hearsay stuff. Hey, Blizzard, trademarked Titan as a website and blah, 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 blah. But nothing like official. Even Chris Metzen was very quiet on it.
I think it's really funny that they use Titan as a code name because the original Halo MMO also used Titan as a code name, and they're two completely different projects.
Oh,
So-
that is true.
I don't know why apparently Titan was a thing, but Titan was a thing.
Or may I interject? Did you just say Halo MMO?
Yeah, they originally were going to develop a Halo MMO, and it was codenamed Titan as well. I'm pretty sure. So I believe it turned into what Destiny is, and probably is now in like Halo Infinite will probably be part of all where it came from. But at one point, yes, they were developing a Halo MMO codenamed Titan too.
Interesting.
So by 2013, we had a jumbled mess called Titan. Blizzard had already spent almost $50 million on development, and they weren't convinced that Titan could lead to anything significantly compelling over competing with any other MMO. And while $50 million sounds like a whole lot of money, let me remind all of you guys that at the time, Blizzard was worth about $15 billion. And so $50 million was just a drop in the bucket to them.
They were printing their own money at that point.
They were definitely, WoW was printing the money, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, well, yeah, I know. Does it press you a little bit when you think about how much money they have of yours?
Oh, God.
Oh, and so with that, guys, Titan was canceled. So back in 2013, there were, at the time, there were about 140 employees working on Titan. Most were transferred to other games, but about 40 employees were given a chance to come up with a new idea within about 6 weeks. Or the ultimatum was 6 weeks, or we transfer you to other departments as well. And so the first idea, one of the ideas that the team came up with, was a project called Crossroads. And Crossroads was said to be an MMO set in an outpost in space, which would have been, well, a crossroads to many different alien species within that universe. And so they concepted several character classes, and even at one point considered tying into the StarCraft universe and bringing StarCraft characters into, well, the Crossroads. I don't know how many more times I can say Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Thank you. But as they fleshed out Crossroads, they realized that they were going to run into the same problems as Titan, and so they began to transition these ideas into yet another concept. And while brainstorming, they thought about the current state of first-person shooters, because that's what they were working on with Titan. And they knew that they wanted to bring innovation to the genre. They were all fans of the genre, while also wanting to emulate the use of some of their favorite characteristics in other games, like the rocket jumping and grappling hooks used in a Team Fortress series. At the same time, MOBAs were starting to take off, and they loved the concept of having to cooperate with others to successfully win a match. And it was bringing these two ideas together is basically where Overwatch was formed. They wanted to take the scale and pace of games like Team Fortress and blend them together with the cooperative nature of MOBAs. And so we have Overwatch. Which brings us to the art style. At this point, every first-person shooter was incredibly realistic. We were in the middle of a futuristic realism trend. So we had Call of Duty, probably Ghosts and Advanced Warfare, I think, the time. Battlefield was in a more futuristic. We had The Last of Us post-apocalypse. We had Fallout, God, was that a 4 area? We had all these just dark, dreary, post-apocalyptic, futuristic realism games. And they didn't want to follow the same suit. And so they opted for an art style that was more optimistic, as they put it. And it had brighter visuals that would help draw in players and make it appeal to a wider audience. Right? That sounds about right. Yeah, we good?
Absolutely.
And the thing is they wanted to create a game that was more inclusive to other people too. That was something that they worked on from the beginning. They wanted to bring in different cultures and different genders and so on and so forth. And so it was really just designed from the ground up to be, a game that everyone could play. Now, not everyone plays it, but that's okay. They tried. So with all these decisions made, they began to prototype the game. They took the classes they made for Titan and they remade them as heroes, and they gave them the core abilities that they took from the Titan skill set, and they began to develop a backstory and personality for the said heroes. And so that leaves us to their first prototype. Right off the beginning, the development team was given an assignment for each member to pitch their own hero. And by the first morning, 48 hero concepts existed. There were a lot of ones that didn't make the cut, and we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but I kind of want to start at the beginning and just kind of get everyone's thoughts on it. So, your first hero and your first map that came over from Titan were Tracer and the Temple of Anubis. So, Tracer. We a Tracer fan, guys?
I wasn't beta.
Not at all.
Thank you, Peanut Gallery.
I love Tracer in beta. She was so much fun, but then when she went live, she just wasn't the same.
Why?
Ah, just they took away so many bullets. She was just a lot. You had to be a lot more, dive, get out with her once she went live.
Rob, you ever play as Tracer?
I have tried because I do like the random heroes and stuff, and every time I get Tracer, I don't have fun. It's not my play style at all.
I like the way you put that. I just don't have fun. All right, so the next three heroes that they brought in, which represent the first four, that was the core when they started off their prototype. The next three were all classes that they developed during Crossroads. So these were originally Crossroads character classes. And they were Widowmaker, Reaper, and Pharah. I'm a Widowmaker fan, I'm not going to lie. I have no problem there. How do we feel about those three guys?
Farah for me is Rob's Tracer because I am not enjoying Farah at all, ever.
I didn't enjoy Farah at first, but after using her more, I've gotten accustomed to her. Mostly on the mode where you get faster refreshes.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot more fun in that mode than playing her normally, because otherwise it's just the jetpack and all of her stuff is just really complex for me. But Reaper is one of my favorite characters.
I do know that. Why do you like Reaper?
Get up in there and cause some havoc. That's what I like to do.
Oh man. Well, so we had a map, maybe more than one map, and we had a core group of 4 characters. And the development team felt at this time like they had a really solid concept. And to be honest, they thought about releasing it with these limited number of heroes and then continuing to add more in time. So let's start there. Do you think this game would be where it is now, or would be as popular as it is now if they had started with this model, this maybe a couple maps, let's go with a handful and 4 heroes and go from there?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either, frankly. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't honestly think it would. No.
So it's a good thing they didn't do it, huh?
Probably.
They nixed the idea of releasing it with such a limited number of heroes, and they took 2 more years to continue to add content before they released it. And that takes us to 2014, where they revealed Overwatch with a cinematic trailer at BlizzCon 2014. Matt, you were there, were you not?
Yes, sir, I was.
Tell me what it was like to be there at BlizzCon when this was announced.
The place erupted. Like it was Chris Metzen came out, who is probably one of my favorite people to ever work at Blizzard. So whenever he comes on stage, you know something cool is about to go down. And when he introduced it, it was just the whole place just was up and at it.
So were excited as him, or we were excited for a new Blizzard IP?
Both.
Yeah.
The fact that Metzen was one of the lead project designers in it, you knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, he's worked on everything for them, like
Oh yeah,
absolutely everything for them.
he's Thrall. I mean, geez.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I don't even know where to start. I mean, Metzen was Warcraft, Warcraft 2, Diablo. I mean, like, he has just had his hand in. If you're a Blizzard fan, everything that everything. Rob, last night we played Diablo, and we could not beat the Skeleton King. Do you remember? Do you remember who the Skeleton King is?
When you say who he is, what do you exactly mean?
I referred to him by his name. His
Leonidas?
it was Leoric.
No. Damn it!
Leoric.
I knew that.
So Metzen did the voiceover for Leoric in the original Diablo. So you kind of met him in his Skeleton King form.
He's
Nice.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's absolutely everywhere. So the first cinematic trailer had Tracer, Winston, Reaper, and Widowmaker in it. But as part of the announcement, there were 12 characters that were announced. They were Tracer, Symmetra, Pharah, Hanzo, Reaper, Winston, Torbjorn, Bastion, Mercy, Widowmaker, Zenyatta, and Reinhardt. Did I get those right? Yeah, I got those
Yep.
right. That was I like to call them the Dirty Dozen. That was where they started. There were some others that they toyed with, but they started with those 12. And then by the time it came out, we had what, 21 was the release?
Somewhere around there.
I didn't come into Overwatch until later. Rob, I think you bought me Overwatch.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure you bought me Overwatch, but I remember coming in late after Moira.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was after Moira. Because I
That
think
was pretty late.
That was late.
What is it? Brigitte? How do you say
Brigitte?
it? Brigitte? Is that how?
Brigida.
Spaghetti. I'm pretty sure that was the first hero that was like added to it after I played. So yes, I didn't come to Overwatch until late. We talked about this on the podcast in previous episodes. I've never gotten into the MOBA genre. Even this, I don't know why. Excuse me, because I suck. That's the only explanation. So let's look at the release heroes. And Matt, you're going to know better than any of us, so I'm going to rely on you for a lot of this.
Uh-oh.
As we go through it, you're going to know the changes. You know, some of these characters have changed
Quite a bit.
Who got 2 major reworks? Was it Symmetra?
Symmetra and Mercy.
Mercy got a big one. Mercy wasn't airborne at first, was she?
She was, but
more
she
airborne. I
yeah,
felt.
and she could res the whole team at one time. She could change the whole game. Now it's you get one person every 30 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely slowed it down, but made it more like one-on-one as opposed to just that AoE.
Right.
So when we first started on offense, we had Genji, Soldier 76, McCree, Tracer, Reaper, and Pharah. We know, Rob, you're a Reaper fan. Well, let me ask you this, Matt. Who do you prefer? Like, what's your preference?
Well, I usually play Diva, Moira, and Mercy. Those are my 3 tops.
That's ironic. I do love Reaper, but he is not among my top 3. And I would say my top 3 contain Diva, Moira, and Hammond.
God, I hate that rat.
I'm one of those ones that make you hate him.
I know I played more Mercy than anything else. I don't know how I end up on a support role, but I always end up on a support role. I know I like Junkrat and Widowmaker. I don't know. Who do I play as a tank? Oh, I've only done
You're
like...
an Orisa.
You think so?
See, I've been enjoying Roadhog lately, actually.
Haven't done a whole lot with him.
Yeah, I got him one time in Mystery Heroes, and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. So I started playing him a little bit in Quick Play.
What's Mystery Heroes?
Basically, when you die, you come back as a different hero.
Ooh,
You don't get to select.
Yeah, you don't get select at all.
They do that during All-Star Weekend for the Overwatch League.
Yes.
There's I had it as a topic, but this is a good place to. There's one of the games they play is Who is Meta, and that's exactly it. You start out as one character, and when get a kill, you switch to another character.
Oh, yeah, the death match. Yeah, they got it to where you go through all 21 of them.
Yep, exactly. When you get a kill with all characters, first person to get a kill with all characters wins. So
They usually put Mercy as last.
Man. All right, so out of the offensive guys, Genji, Soldier 76, McCree, Tracer, Reaper, and Pharah, I want to know who's still like viable in the meta. Like, we've added a lot of additional heroes, right? So it always fascinates me to know like who is still relevant and who's not. Like, does anyone play Soldier 76 anymore, for instance?
I do.
Newbies.
See, there you go. Damon, you just called yourself out.
I mean, I started out on Soldier 76, so he's one of my best characters.
McCree? We play McCree?
Oof.
Oof.
Oh. Oof.
Well, we've all just been through the defensive heroes, right? We covered that we like the Rat, we like Widowmaker. Out of the other defensive ones, Mei, Bastion, Hanzo, and Bjorn, any of those still get played?
Me and Rob do Bastion Orisa combo a lot.
Oh, that's just mean.
This is mean.
But that's when you got to come in with the Genji, and you got to have a decent Genji on there. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
That's a pro Genji.
That's a pro Genji.
That's dumb luck, Genji. Don't let him fool you.
As we move into the tanks, of course, we have the Diva, which it cracks me up that that's where the name is that she is the Diva of the team.
Right?
Rob just said Roadhog. You said
Not
Roadhog.
Robbie, Matt. Yeah, it
Matt
wasn't
said
me.
Roadhog. Shoot, I can't even keep all the names straight today. Who plays Zarya? Does anybody?
Zarya is really fun, actually. I was playing before we came on to here, and I was Zarya for a little while, and then I switched over to Reinhardt because of the way the other team was playing. But Zarya is really fun if you practice with her, because you got to keep that energy up.
And then for support at the time, we had Lucio, Symmetra. Ugh, I'm a butcher all the names, but Mercy and Zenyatta. Everyone played Mercy in the beginning, didn't they? Because she was so overpowered. That's why they had to nerf her.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the heroes they added and whether or not they've worked like they've done anything. Because the first one they added was Anna. Anna's played. Anna's played a decent amount. There's an Anna Skills Challenge in the Overwatch League, the All-Star Weekend. So, I guess you can't dismiss Anna.
Anna's fun, but you just got to stay so far back because you take a couple hits and you're dead as fried chicken.
Oh yeah.
Sombra. How about you a Sombra fan?
I piss people off with Sombra.
I get pissed off by Sombra.
I love hacking people. I got the whole team with an EMP earlier, and all I got was hate.
Oh, that just sounds evil.
It's awesome. Just popped up out of nowhere, right behind him. Just and they're like, "Uh-oh."
We covered our eyes. Doomfist. We have a Doomfist fan.
Nah.
Not me.
I
No.
wouldn't say a fan.
Then we got Moira. Moira's
Good.
Moira's good. And then we got Brigitte. Is it really Brigitte?
I thought it was
Brigitte.
Brad.
I call her Brigitte or Brigitte.
Or Baguette. Can I call her Baguette like she's French?
Brigitte. Brigitte.
How about the Wrecking Ball? We Wrecking Ball fan?
Oh, that's one of my most played characters.
You
hate him.
like rolling around in a ball?
Sure do.
Sure
I'm
does.
fast as fuck.
Who came after Wrecking Ball?
Brigitte.
Yeah.
Then it was Ash, wasn't
Ash.
Then my Wrecking Ball was
Oh.
Ash.
Was it Wrecking Ball Ash?
Yep, it was Wrecking
Yep.
Ball Ash.
Oh, that's gotcha.
And then Baptiste, is that the next one?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Sigma, Echo, and then Sojourn, right?
Sojourn's not out yet, but coming soon.
Oh, that's right.
I was gonna say, who even is that? What?
That's right.
Yeah.
I got him ahead of myself on that one. Yeah. As I'm looking at my list of additional heroes, not out yet. They called the first prototype Prometheus, and like I had noted with the first prototype, they had one day to come up with all these ideas, and in that day they came out with something like what did I say? 48 heroes that they came out with right off the bat, I think it was. Yeah, 48 hero concepts. And so we know of a bunch of those. There's a bunch of canceled heroes that were Prometheus pitches. When I opened this episode, I made a joke about you, Rob, being a recluse. There was one called Recluse. There was Brit, who bears a big resemblance to Diva. It is actually, what is it, the Kanazaka? Send that, the Kanazaka map, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brit is on the billboard advert for the virtual travel agency. So she's still in the game somewhere, which is really interesting. But there are other ones. There was a character named Bruiser. There was a character named Firestarter, Frost, Helio, Hivemind, Huntress, Luke. There was one of my favorites called Mama Hong.
Yeah.
Okay.
It said that Mama Hong is possibly based on the landlady character from Kung Fu Hustle, and she had an ability called Manslaughter. And the profile picture is literally like this Asian mean looking lady. Her Her hair is in rollers, and she's smoking a cigarette.
I was gonna say, please say she flicks cigarettes at people, because that would be
Yeah,
great for an ultimate.
she's smoking a cigarette in her profile picture. Apparently, it was a very controversial character. It's said to be the second most controversial character in terms of argument over whether or not it should become a character. Do you know what's said to be the most controversial character that they have argued over?
Tracer.
Mm-mm.
Oh, do you mean it's to become a character? Because they made Tracer change her victory pose.
No, I mean that was controversial, but I mean to become like there's one character that is agreed upon that they argued the most over through the process. Mama Hong was the second most, and they nixed her. But I will give you a clue: the most controversial one they've actually added already. Anyone want to take a guess?
Baptiste.
Mm-mm. Nope. Actually, you play it a lot. We just talked about it.
Hammond.
The Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Hammond.
Where the hell? Hammond.
Hammond was his name as an experiment, but when he busted out, he became the Wrecking Ball. So
Cool.
that's his slave name, as they call it.
All right.
Hence why it's controversial.
There
Yes.
you go. You just schooled me on his name. I didn't do that much research. I guess. Call me. Call me.
Yeah,
Such an
if you
easy
go to
thing.
if you go to the lunar colony, you'll actually see where Winston and Hammond are like scratched out on the thing as not being able to be found.
Nice. So, well, there you go. Some controversial. Mama Hong. Let's see. McLeod. Overmine. There's one called the Freak. There was one called Praetor. Psyblade. Excuse me. Rashi. Rumble. Troy. Watcher. And one called Yetzi, which is supposedly bear a resemblance to the Yeti. So these were all Prometheus characters that were nixed. In case you were wondering, Mama Hong. Mama Hong was the most interesting one, I'll tell you that by far. So, and they didn't get very far in a lot of these. There's not a lot of information. You know, a couple abilities here, or it looked like this, or it seemed to resemble this person's. It's a whole lot of when you look these up, it's a whole lot of, well, this person's skill set was actually integrated into this character type deal. You know, they became other characters. So
Gotcha.
they must have found their skill sets were interesting, but as characters they were pretty boring. Moving on the topic of characters. So I found an article online. It's published on thegamer.com. And of course, if you would like to see the article, I always post my show notes on our website, which is www.memorycardlane.com. But in this article, it had listed 5 characters that are the most fun to play and 5 that are kind of boring. So that's what we're going to talk about, starting with number 10. So their 10th are, the way you can look at it, is their 5th most fun to play character because it alternates fun, boring, fun, boring. So their 5th fun or 10th on the list is May. Do we think May is fun to play as?
I think she is. Well, I think she is not with like her attack, but just using her like freezing abilities and stuff. Those are fun.
Yeah, once you get her ult.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah.
Rob, are you RuneScaping right now?
Nope.
All right, boring. Their most boring character, or their least boring character. I don't even know if you want to look at this forward or backwards, but their boring character, number 9, is Orisa. How do we feel about that?
I can
Not a
see
big
that.
fan.
Yeah, she is. You just stand behind a shield and shoot.
And
Yeah.
she's slow as all hell. So God forbid you're trying to defend a point and die.
All right,
Yeah.
number 8 for fun is Moira. How do we feel about Moira?
Pretty damn fun.
I love Moira.
Yeah, why?
Well, because usually I end up with gold and damage and healing at the same time. I'm like, what?
Yep, that's common.
So number 7 for boring is Damon's apparent favorite, Soldier 76. Boring, Damon. Boring.
I mean, old character, so people may like him as much now.
Call of
So you go
Duty.
play Call of Duty. Yep, exactly.
See, that's exactly how I feel about Soldier 76. That's the Call of Duty crowd right there. All right. So number 6 for fun is Wrecking Ball. Rob, we already know you love Wrecking Ball.
Oh yeah.
I like the mobility of Wrecking Ball. That's it for me. I just think it's nifty. It's different. How's that? Is that fair? It's different.
Yeah,
Very fair.
I think my mouse sensitivity is too high for me to play Wrecking Ball for some reason. I don't feel like adjusting
No.
settings every time I want to play him.
Yeah.
Mm.
So right in the middle for boring is Mercy. They put Mercy in the boring list. Do we think Mercy is boring? I don't. I like playing as Mercy, so.
I think it's
It depends on the tanks, really.
See, I think that you find Mercy boring because you like to bum rush into everything.
damn
Literally.
straight.
You are the Leroy Jenkins of every game we play.
Hell yeah.
Rob, do you like playing as Mercy?
I don't prefer her as my healer, but if I need to, I know she is a strong healer, and if someone's already using a Moira and we need an additional healer for whatever godforsaken reason, I mean, she's not the worst secondary healer, but I definitely wouldn't play her as my primary.
Well, that takes us to number 4. With my slip of the tongue, their number 4 for fun is Reaper. I don't have a lot of experience with Reaper. How do y'all feel about Reaper?
I think he's a lot of fun, but he is difficult to learn. Yeah.
He's really difficult for me to learn.
I like Reaper in Deathmatch, but not in Quick Play.
That's interesting. Why?
I've never done deathmatch, so I can't.
Well, because I mean, as an individual, it's nice to be able to have that reliability of he has a little bit more health and he does a lot more damage when you're up close. And with it being deathmatch, you kind of want to get up close to everybody. So that's why I kind of like him for deathmatch. But as far as in game, to me, I can't get that close most of the time.
Well, their number 3 counterpoint for Reaper is Spaghetti Brigetti. How do we feel about her being a boring character?
I like her. I play her.
Not a huge fan personally.
And if I get her in Mystery Heroes, I'm not mad, but I'm not excited either.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm indifferent with her. It's just not my favorite, but she's not terrible either.
See, there you go. Indifferent. That's a really
Yeah.
good way to put it. Really good way to put it. All right, so that takes us to the top of the list. The top of the list for fun on this article, they considered Doomfist their top of the list. Eh?
No.
I'm yeah.
Were they high?
No.
I think though. I think okay. So we can all agree that that's a no. However, let's go with their boring side though, because I think we can all agree. Who do you think they put as their most boring character?
I'm looking at the list, so I can't say.
Oh yeah, you are looking at the list. Matt, what do you think is their most boring character?
I'd say they probably put Reinhardt.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Nope, it's Tracer.
Ah.
Definitely Tracer.
I can say one thing about the top fun Doomfist. Really, it's enjoyable with that one, like I said, the mode where it's like really fast cooldowns because you can just spam the hell out of him in the air, and that's
Yeah.
kind of fun because it's just spamming and annoying people. You're trolling really, but outside of that, it's just he's annoying. He's annoying to play. He's annoying to deal with. It's just no. I'd rather play Tracer.
Agree.
I like that we've just made Doomfist the trolling character. Oh man. Oh man. All right. So let's go on personal opinions. I know it's difficult, but let's start with you, Rob. Your most fun and your most boring.
Most fun. I mean, it really depends on the enemy team because, like, a good team is not fun to play against as Hammond because Hammond's kind of a spongy tank. If it weren't for that, I'd say it's between Hammond or Wrecking Ball and Diva personally.
Let's just go with optimal situation. So let's assume all the things are right. Which is your absolute favorite to play with?
Honestly, I'd say Diva.
Okay. And what's the most boring character to you?
I am not a fan of the Ana Widowmaker, that far off sniping. It just doesn't seem right in this game. Like it's too far away and too situational. I just don't like those two, and I can't really compare one or the other because to me they kind of just do the same thing. Although obviously one's more of a healer and one's more offensive, but they're just both meh.
All right, Matt, on to you. What's your most fun character?
Let's say I guess Diva. I love tanking with her. Some of the changes they've made since launch, not super huge fan of, but for the most part, Diva's been my main since launch, really.
And your most boring?
I would actually have to say I do not enjoy playing Baptiste at all.
To be fair, I've not played him, so I couldn't really
Mm.
say whether or not I find him fun or boring.
Like, he's kind of cool with what he can do, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, there, Peanut Gallery. Giving you a chance. What's your most fun?
Favorite character to use is by far Hans.
Hanzo for you. And your most
I like the S. I just like bow and arrows. So any game that has a bow in it, I generally go for the bow.
and your most boring?
Definitely Sigma. I just can't
Ooh,
understand.
good call.
Yeah, I just can't understand how to use them properly, and I never have a good time.
I'm gonna have to say that for me, judging by the fact that I have more time in Mercy than anyone, that I probably enjoy. I mean, I'll tell you, I enjoy playing Mercy. That's weird, I know. And I really don't like Soldier 76. It's too, like you guys put it, Call of Duty for me. Just, I, I might as well be playing that than this if I'm using Soldier 76. So, all right. Well, moving on from the characters, Overwatch has a very it's a big competitive scene. Big competitive scene, and anytime we can talk about professional esports, we talk about professional esports. In this case, it's the Overwatch League, which is a professional esports league that was created by Blizzard. Overwatch is got permanent city-based teams that are backed by separate ownership groups, which is a little different than the way other esport leagues do it. They do a regular season and a playoffs format. Alongside that, there is an open division in which amateur teams can compete, which is kind of like a scouting, deal. And then there's the Overwatch Contenders League, which is a mix of professional and amateur players. And alongside that, they have their version of what I perceive to be the minor leagues, which is the academy team. Matt, Damon, Rob, anyone watch the Overwatch League?
I've watched some here and there, but not a whole lot. I watched probably like a few matches like last year, so I can't say I'm the most up to date on it.
Matt is the big Overwatch fan here. You keep up on this?
I am actually wearing my Outlaw shirt right now, as funny as that is. I didn't even mean to, but yeah.
Nice.
So,
Dork. Nerd.
yeah, absolutely.
You say that like we're not all that here, Dave.
I know. We all have our nerd things. So, did I get the layout correct though, in terms of like the open division scouting and the academy teams are more like the minor leagues?
Yeah, pretty much. What's it called? I would love to be able to try out for that. It just seems like so much fun to get in there.
It does. It
Uh-huh.
does. And as the time goes on, it becomes a bigger and bigger thing, if the winnings are any indication, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Overwatch League, but I found this fascinating. So, the first season was 2018 and the London Spitfire won, and over the course of the season they took $1.2 million home. And my understanding is the way it works is that half of those winnings the players get the split, and then the other half goes to the ownership team, the ownership group. So, in 2019, the San Francisco Shock won and earned 1.5 million over the course of the season. And this past season in 2020, the San Francisco Shock took it for the second year in a row. And over the course of the season, they won $2.85 million. From 2019 to 2020, the amount of money that was invested in this was almost double. And I can't see it going in any other direction but up from here, huh? I mean, it just seems to get bigger and bigger. Especially if we've got Overwatch 2 coming, that they'll carry this over into Overwatch 2, won't they?
Absolutely, but Overwatch 2 is going to go to 5v5 versus 6v6. So
Oh,
I'm
I
kind of
know.
curious how that's going to affect everything.
I don't know. I mean, if I was a player, it meant more money for me.
Absolutely, but it's how are they going to balance the tanks? Because it's only going to be the one tank versus
Yeah.
the tank and the off tank. I mean, the healers are going to start being able to, have their own healing themselves and everything like that. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, well, hold that thought for a second.
Cool.
Let's go. I want to talk about one more thing in the Overwatch League, and then yeah, let's go back to Overwatch 2. The All-Star Weekend. I've talked about it bits and pieces, but it really fascinates me that there's an All-Star Weekend for Overwatch and all the games that they play. So they do a talent takedown, which is where all the casters and the analysts play against one another. They do a Widowmaker 1v1, which is Widowmaker with auto firing disabled and only headshots apply damage, so that's pretty cool. There's a Winston skills match played in Ilios where each player has to push a neutral wrecking ball into the well in the middle of the map. I it was hilarious, to be honest with you. It's great. There's a Genji skills challenge. The first player to 3 eliminations wins. There's an Ana skills challenge, which is the first person to 20 eliminations or 5 minutes of play. And then, of course, we've already talked about who is meta, where each player begins with McCree, and after a kill, they're automatically changed to another character, and the first to get kills in all 22 characters wins. So there's a lot of really interesting things in there. And I'm almost like, why these characters in the All-Star Weekend? Like, why a Widowmaker? Why a Winston? Why you like are these, Matt? Like, I'm at, like, since you're more into this than the rest of us, like, are these considered like the characters? Is that why they picked those ones? Or they're just like, let's play these characters that no one plays and make people play them for All-Star Weekend? You know what
No,
I mean?
they're more skills players, because I mean, especially with the Widowmaker with just headshots,
That's true.
you have to be on point and have your wrist flick perfect, everything like that. Genji to me is just a pain in the ass to play. Like if you're good with him, you're good with him. So, and then Ana, she just does her little healing thing most of the time, but if they can do the damage with her and get the kills, more power to them.
Do you all know if there's any other of the esport leagues that do an All-Star Weekend like this? Because I can't, I don't. It's not like there's a Rocket League aerial goal challenge or three. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know of anything that we have like this, or am I wrong in that respect?
I don't think there's anything like that. No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But Overwatch League is different too because of the way it does the city-based teams and the way it does a regular season and a playoff format. It's not like you can't do that with the other e-leagues because they're almost entirely based on tournament style formats. You get what I'm saying? I mean they're all aren't all of them. They're all based on tournament elimination styles. All of them. I mean, we talked about Smash Brothers. Isn't that how Smash Brothers is? We know that's how RCLS
Yep.
is.
Yep, it's all bracketed.
It's all bracketed. So there really isn't. I guess there's really not an opportunity to do anything like this because what would you have All Stars for? All Stars Weekend is literally the whole season because you're always playing bracketed stuff, you know? All right, so let's bring it back around. Overwatch 2. We've been getting little information here and there. As Matt just alluded to, the latest thing to come out, it is the latest thing, was the 5v5. We just got that information, what, a week ago, was it?
Somewhere around there.
So let's talk about Overwatch 2. So for starters, it's 5v5, which is interesting.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I can't wrap my head around what that's going to look like for team composition comparatively.
Right. Because I mean, the way the tanks balance each other out, if you're using, Reinhardt and Diva, so you have the fast moving with the shield, and then you've got to worry about your healers. Just having one of them's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, they're going to balance everything out. I mean, that's just it. I imagine that when Overwatch 2 comes out, that we're going to get the characters aren't going to be the same. They're going to have to design them. I mean, they're still going to be our characters, but they're not going to play or feel exactly the same because I feel like if they leave some of them the way they are in a 5v5 setting, it's just going to be out of balance. It's going to be out of whack.
Yeah,
Uh,
Diva's so squishy, by herself. It just wouldn't work. And Roadhog, I mean, yeah, it can heal, but that's a big target.
Very true. Very, very true.
all right. So Matt, what else do we know about Overwatch 2?
Well, the healers are going to be able to, they're going to start having self healing, much like Mercy does, whereas most of them now don't. So I haven't been able to keep up. I've been working so much. I've been trying to keep up, but I haven't been able to keep up.
That's all right. I've only been seeing the bigger pieces of news, and the 5v5 is definitely taking up the conversation right now because, well, I mean, it's a very big change, and none of us really understand what that means. I mean, we do, and we don't. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole lot of balancing. I think, how did Blizzard put it? That they feel it's going to hasten the pace and more clearly define roles. Because with the 6-person, you got a little bit of wiggle room, and I mean, you do technically have a little bit of wiggle room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think if you eliminate that extra, you don't get the extra. You don't. You just have to know your role and stick to it. That's the point I'm trying to make. You're gonna have to do that because there's less of a chance of someone being able to help you with your role. Does that make sense?
Well, it's also going to require a lot more teamwork. So, I mean, if you're pugging, all this, it's going to be a rough day if you got a bunch of pugs that just don't give a shit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Rob, what do you think about a 5v5?
I haven't done as much competitively with the game, so like obviously I'm familiar with the 6v6, but I don't really see it being that much different as long as you have solid players. But I guess that's exactly what you guys are saying is you have to know your roles.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing for me. I just think everyone's going to have to be a little bit more precise, depending on the team composition and the role you play. Because right now there's definitely overlap in certain roles, and you might have less of that when you lose a person. And I mean it's just a person. It'll be interesting. What we know it's not coming out this year. That we know.
Yeah.
But that's about it, isn't it? There's still no ETA otherwise.
Not that I've heard or seen.
Just not this year.
Yeah.
It's already more than I knew.
Yeah. It and Diablo 4 are not this year. Both were whenever they did I don't know, financial report. They were both not shown in any of the quarters for the year, and so everyone just put 2 and 2 together. So,
What about that Diablo mobile game that has been so touted?
I have a very mixed feelings about that.
Agree.
It could be interesting. It looks interesting from the streaming I've seen of it. I don't know. I love me some Diablo though. I love me some Diablo, but with that being said, the most Diablo I've played recently has been the first Diablo, and it's a bit of a struggle to show my love because that series has just come so far. It's just come so far, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just come so far. I love I still love Diablo 2. I like Diablo 3, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I still love Diablo 2, but like when you go back to Diablo 1, it is so hard. It's just so hard. Like,
There is.
yeah. Rob.
I'm the only one to have died last night, and that was like 20 deaths.
That's
Well, I
not
shouldn't say the
true.
only. For like the
We
first
were
hour and a half.
we were getting our butts handed to us left and right. Oh, and then like you die and your stuff is down there, and like you respawn with no like it's just so hardcore. It's so hardcore,
Yeah.
You're
man.
not hardcore until you live hardcore.
Hey, but you got to see the catacomb for like 2 seconds before we all died.
I sure did.
Oh, all right.
That was rough.
I know. Well, I think with time and with everything, that's about all I have on Overwatch. It's been a good 5 years. How about this? Before I take out the game itself, what has been your favorite change to the game from in 5 years? Damon, how about you for starters?
God, I'm nowhere up to date on most of this, but I
My
hated
God.
I hated when they reworked Hanzo.
Well, he's not asking about hate.
I'll take it if that's
that's
what he
easy.
wants. If that's what he wants to do for his biggest change, cool. Rob, what about you?
I mean, just as the game's grown and added new characters, because I've enjoyed a lot of the characters they've added, like Moiran and Wrecking Ball, and just been a lot of fun getting to play with the new characters as well as the old cast.
Yeah, it's been nice that they've been consistently adding new characters. I think that for those of us that are casual players, it kind of brings us back into the fold. Maybe if only for a little bit out of morbid curiosity,
For sure.
And I think that this game does it better than a lot of others. That's it. A lot of others. I was gonna make a comment about Rocket League never adds stuff, but they kind of do it different limited game modes and stuff like that.
And the skins, mostly the new vehicles and stuff they add.
Yeah.
But
Matt, what about you? What's been the most significant change for you?
I love the arcade, to be honest with you. With the mystery heroes and death matches and things like that they've gotten in there. I'm really enjoying that. It's not just straight PvP. I mean, it is PvP, yes, in a sense, but it's got the different play styles and everything like that.
Do you play a lot of competitive?
Not lately. I used to have a lot more time on my hands, but now it's just like I get in there, I get my 10 wins or losses just to get my spray and call it a day. But sometimes I'll hop in there.
Where do you feel your skill levels at on the competitive circuit?
Oh, good lord. Depends on the day, really.
Well, I mean, let's say your heyday. On your heyday when you were playing all the time, where were you? What level were you playing at?
I was in golden hell.
Golden Hell.
Yes.
Yeah, we know Golden Hell in our own respective games. So
yeah, I remember back when I was
We were
still playing
plats,
competitively, we were plat, yeah,
nice.
2500.
Oof. Nice.
Yeah, it was either hit or miss at that level.
All right. Well, I think that'll about do it for 5 years of Overwatch. Before I take it out, anyone want to add anything? Damon, you for starters? He's gonna
Have
be
fun.
cool. Have
Nope.
fun.
Just have fun and enjoy the game.
Okay, Matt, how about you? Anything you want to add to the Overwatch conversation? Some other bit of trivia I missed? Something fun? Something interesting?
No, I mean, truthfully, you did a lot of research and you kind of actually taught me a couple things as far as going that far back with Prometheus and Titan and things of that. I knew basics of it, but I never really did a deep dive into it. So learning all that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's I always enjoy that's my favorite part, to be honest with you. So, Rob, how about you? What anything you want to add to the Overwatch conversation?
No, you just, Damon hit it on the head. Just play the game, try it out, see if it's for you. It's definitely not for everyone, but I will say that there is a lot of varying play styles that, as long as you enjoy to some small degree the competitive aspect, because that's ultimately what the game is all about. But there is a play style for a lot of people. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you enjoy that style of game, you'll find someone.
Very true. Very true. All right. Well, moving on from the game, every week we have a gaming question of the week. This one's very much related to the competitive side of things. So, gentlemen, do you think that professional gamers are similar to athletes in physical sports? Why or why not? So, I will start out with Damon. Do you have an opinion on this?
Like, what do you mean exactly? Like athleticism itself, or just
We can go with that. I mean, if that's what your knee jerk reaction is, you want to compare it to athleticism. Do you
I,
want to compare it to athleticism?
I was just gonna say it. I mean, gaming takes a lot of concentration and stuff, but as far as being athletic, I don't think you need to be athletic to be good at a video game.
So you're saying that my fat ass could be competitive in gaming?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Just checking. But you believe that focus and concentration. Do you need more
Ye-
focus and concentration?
I feel like on the higher levels, yes, it does take a lot of focus and concentration because you have to be aware of everything going on, your teammates, communication, like you have to know call outs. There's a lot to know.
I mean, I would say athletic sports are very similar, though.
In terms of that, yes, but I was saying in the term of just straight athleticism, I don't think you need to be athletic to be good.
All right, fair statement. Matt, how about you? What do you think?
I think as far as like honing your skills and practicing, I think they are very similar. But I also have to agree that, as far as athleticism itself, like as you put it, yeah, my fat ass could be on there, if I had the time to put into it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. Rob, how about you, man?
Well, I mean, everyone's hit it kind of perfectly on the head. Obviously, the level of athleticism is going to be different between one and the other. I mean, one, you don't really do a whole lot of athleticism because there's not a lot of VR esports right now.
So
But
what
I
you're
will say,
I was gonna say, so what you're saying is I don't need to work on my cardio to be competitive esport gamer guy.
I mean, cardio is always important
Oh, good.
just to
Thank
staying
you.
healthy and being, the healthier you are, the more mentally aware you can be during your gaming.
Which rule is cardio? Anyone know that reference? Is that rule number one? Do cardio. Isn't
The
rule
I
one or
number
think
one?
that's
two?
number one.
I think it's number
Yeah,
one. Zombieland.
I knew it
Yeah,
was one or two. I couldn't remember.
but I do think that both are very, you have a lot of training in their own aspects. One is definitely going to be a lot more physical than the other, although I think that mentally speaking, it's really kind of one and the same. I mean, if you're playing a game where it's a lot more solo, it's no different than a Olympic wrestler. He's one on one. You might be for a team, but one on one, that's your match. A boxing, UFC, fighting, it's all thinking, what's your opponent going to do? What do I need to do to counter this, or what's my next attack? I mean, to the same degree, it's just like a game of chess. It's just always thinking ahead. And you do that in sports just the same. You learn to react to situations, but you also think ahead of what can you do in certain situations should they come up.
Yeah, that's very true. I do think they both take a lot of, I think we've all said it, practice and honing skills and concentration and so on and so forth. I think we should look at, they're professional gamers, right? There's a professional everything. There's professional dog trainers and professional, I don't know, ice cream eaters. They're actually, I made that as a joke, but I'm pretty sure there's a professional ice cream eater somewhere.
Professional
There's,
hot dog eaters.
yeah, I'm thank
Yeah,
you.
Oh
That's
yeah,
yeah.
exactly what I was just thinking. I think each needs their own specific skill set, and I don't think one takes away from any other. Um, Athletes are to their respective sports what professional gamers are to gaming. They have to operate on a level that's way above where the rest of us operate. You know, I'm not going to go on the street and shoot some b-ball with the kids in the neighborhood and think I'm LeBron James anymore than I think I'm going to be. I don't even know who the Overwatch people are. Anyone know the actual names of the Overwatch? Like man, you're wearing an outlaw shirt, but who's your favorite Overwatch player?
To go with Jake. He's a Diva Tracer player. Does really well.
Gotcha. So, well, there
I
you
mean, come on,
go.
Dave. You can probably
Oh,
name at least 3 Rocket League pros.
Yeah,
I
come on.
I can. Yeah, I can. We all can. Our squishies of the world. So,
I was also
Zero is my Smash character or Smash player.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's just a matter of what we pay attention. I've never really gotten the Overwatch League. I did watch about an hour of it in preparation for today's episode, and it's fascinating to me to watch. It's fascinating to me to watch, mostly because I sit there and go, why can't I do that? Because they make it look so easy.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
they make it look so easy, and then I go and play. They're like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna wipe out an entire team at once," and I go play, and I'm like, Why do I keep dying?" They
Give
just
me
make.
heals. Give me
I know,
heals.
I know. Well, that's the part that we're all missing is the people around them. So
well, you also got to think they have a lot of time on the game itself, plus a lot of time playing together with who they're playing with. Also,
yeah, very true. Very
Yeah.
plus
true.
when you get to those higher ranks, you're usually around the same people every game, so you kind of learn how everybody plays.
Very true. Very true. So, all right. Well, with that being said, we were just talking about looking ahead. And if anyone would like to look ahead and see what episodes we're going to cover and what games we're going to cover in the future, you can do so on our website at www.memorycardlane.com. On memorycardlane.com, you can also find all of our old shows. I post all my research notes for the episodes. There is my biography, not Rob's. Check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then there's also links to join our community here on Discord, where you can play games with us, talk to us, or in the case of our late comer here for this episode, Damon, in case you're wondering why a fourth voice was floating, occasionally other people just kind of pop into our recordings, which I'm really going to have to work on locking out. So yeah. Also on our website, there is a link to our Patreon. If you would like to support this fledgling podcast, you can do so for only $2 a month. And you can get to that support page with the support link at our website, www.memorycardlane.com, or go to Patreon directly at patreon.com/tripdownmemorycardlane. Whew, that's all the plugs. Boy, do I love that every week. But yeah. What else am I missing, Rob? I'm missing a very key component.
Well, Dave, I think that you're forgetting about our social media.
What are you doing on social media these days?
Well, when Damon finally helps me fix my internet, I'll be streaming on twitch.tv/FATBOIRIPZ.
Damon, are you still trying to stream over there?
I was about to say yes if you also want to come watch me stream. It's basically the same thing, just underscores in between the names and DABS for the last name. So it's Fat Boy Dabs.
Fat Boy Rips and Fat Boy Dabs. Boys are creative. I love it. Actually, I can't complain because I play as a fat boy when we play Rocket League, so I'm not even gonna shit on you. So, man, I already know that you hate social media, but am I missing a shout out at all?
Not at all. I don't do any of that stuff. I got enough drama without it.
And of course, if you'd like to find me, I am on Twitter as David_is_wrong. That's David is wrong because I am always wrong. Feel free to come on Twitter and tell me how wrong I am. I really just wish video games happy birthday. And when I have the time to play Rocket League, I complain a lot about it and post my special clips. Which is really just me posting the 1 in 1,000 shot I get. That's really it. I promise it's nothing special. So, and I think that'll do it. So, here we are at the end of the episode. And as always, since we like to teach you new things about each game, we go round table and we talk about what we learned. So, Damon, Peanut Gallery over there in the corner, what did you learn today?
I'll be honest, I didn't know about the Halo MMO thing. I've never, as big of a Halo fan as I am, I have never heard about that.
I really like that his takeaway was not even Overwatch related, but I'll take it. So,
I mean, the Titan stuff and stuff like that. I think I missed a portion of it, but
He wasn't paying attention.
That's okay. It's all right.
Hit or miss.
I'm gonna go down the list. Rob, how about you? What did you learn today? Biggest takeaway?
I would have to say that it was definitely the Halo MMO. No, honestly, I had no idea about the whole Tracer, or not, sorry, the whole Prometheus thing. I didn't know like any how that was all done. I didn't know about Titan being an original thing. I didn't know any of the origins of this game.
It's kind of
I
cool,
just
huh?
knew it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree. That was before my time too. And Matt, I know you said a little bit, but you want to stick with the same answer?
Yeah, because I mean, I've never done a deep dive into all the pre stuff. It's kind of cool to hear about,
That's my favorite part of each week. So, well, good. Well, we all learned something as a team, and all you listeners out there, I hope you took something away from today's episode as well. We've spent the last 5 years playing Overwatch, and honestly, like everyone else, I never paid attention to where it came from. So most of everything that y'all learned today was new for me too, which is always a lot of fun to learn about it and bring it here to all of you. So, and with that being said, we're going to take it out. Last thing we do each week is we give everyone one last chance to add anything. I will start again with you, Damon. What would you like to add? Last words, my friend.
Basically, just I mean, we kind of already hit it. Just try the game out, see if it's for you. Don't take it to heart if you lose. It's just a game, man.
Yeah, I think we could say that about most of our competitive games. Rob, you know what? Hold that thought. Rob, you always take it out last. Matt, what would you like to add? Last words.
Hey, I just want to say thank y'all because this has actually been really fun, and I've never thought I would ever do anything like this. So I really do thank you guys for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. It's always nice to have different voices in the gaming community, and yeah, I really appreciate it. All right, Rob, what do you got?
Well, as always, want to say thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you to Matt and Damon for joining us today. I say it every week. It's a hell of a lot of fun what we do here, but definitely a lot more fun when we have a bustling community. So be like these two folks. Come on in, say hello, tell us your stories, and just hang out. We're here to make friends. Good vibes, good times. And with Overwatch, play the game. But like Damon said, don't let it get to you. There's a lot of people that are better than you. A lot.
That's every game we play, though. You know that, right? Like every
Oh
game
yeah,
we
for
play.
sure. Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's just every. You realize that that's my daily reality, just in our social group, right? Like I'm not even good at anything in our little circle of friends. So, I live mediocrity. That's me, mediocrity, Dave. Mediocrities. I like the Latin terms.
You
Hell yeah.
definitely improved in Rocket League. So
I-
we can't
well,
necessarily say that you're bad anymore. You're pretty good at Rocket League now. So
yeah. Not as
hey,
good, but I appreciate that.
you also kick my ass in some Diablo.
That's
that's
true.
true too.
But that's just old school. That's years of have you guys have to play it at a disadvantage because you're going backwards. That's what we were born and molded into, so it just feels right for us old people. So, right, Matt?
Oh God, yes.
Oh.
I feel like I should go get some Metamucil or something, man.
I know. Well, I'll say it just like Rob. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Matt, for joining. Thank you, Damon, for joining at the last minute. I think I'm just going to leave that in and let everyone be confused at first how you popped in there since you missed the introduction because it's more fun that way. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that in there. And at that, I'm going to take it out to next week. So, on our next episode, we're going to be heading back to 1995 to look at yet another successful game created by Hell Laboratory, a development studio which we recently discussed in our Super Smash Bros. Episode. When it was released 26 years ago, Earthbound was hardly a commercial success. And even worse, reviewers had little praise for this RPG that parodied various staples of the RPG genre. But by the 2000s, feelings about Earthbound had changed throughout the gaming community, with multiple polls and critics naming it one of the greatest video games of all time. And so next week, we're going to be taking a look back at the cultural phenomenon of Earthbound, starting with its commercial flop, through its rise, and into its influence on games in this current day. So if you're curious to learn all about Earthbound and where it started and where it went to, join us again next week as we get weird with it, play it loud, and take a foul-smelling trip down memory card lane. Do the thing.
Do 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 wap bop 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 boo